So it's 1965,
Yeah,
12th of April,
yeah.
the day that I flew to Canada. I think the 12th of April 1965, is that when you got engaged?
No, we got engaged at the Christmas of '65.
Oh, okay.
We wanted it to be no. When I left for Canada, it was like,
Right.
it wasn't over, but we decided that we weren't going to have any strings attached. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we're both going to be independent, do what the hell.
Yeah.
You know, that was it. But at Christmas when I went back, you know, we sort of saw each
Rekindled
other
a
again,
relationship.
decided to get engaged with that Christmas, and then married the next Easter.
So the 12th of April 1965 is the day that you flew to Canada?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
I flew to Canada. It's the first plane I'd ever been on.
Oh, right, because you've always just taken the boat and driven.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
All your vacations
nobody
and
flew
driving.
anywhere. I didn't know anybody had been on an aeroplane.
Oh, wow. Oh, so it wasn't just you hadn't been on an airplane. You didn't know anybody
No,
else who'd
my
been on an
parents
airplane.
hadn't been on an aeroplane. Nobody I knew had
So this is
been
a
on.
big deal.
It was,
And
yeah,
it
and
costs
especially transatlantic.
64 pounds. That's nearly the same price as your scooter.
Yeah, I know. I know. 64 pounds, and yeah, so yeah,
One way.
one way.
So, like, when you said goodbye to your mum and dad,
Yeah,
it was like, I'm going to go start a life over in Canada.
yeah.
And what made you come to Toronto?
Well, it was the sort of publishing. It was the Centre for Publishing in Canada. Still is.
Yeah.
And like that's all I knew was
Right.
publishing.
So Toronto was it. Biggest town in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, I had sort of visions of coming to Canada, sort of doing a Toronto bit, then maybe going down to New York and working
Right.
down there, or
Right.
yeah, I don't know, sort of.
Yeah, yeah.
But like Toronto, there was no publishing in Vancouver in those days,
Right.
or anywhere else.
Yeah.
Montreal there would be, but it's
It's
French.
French. Yeah.
So Toronto was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
So it's 64 pounds to get here, and you have 50 pounds in your pocket.
Yeah. No job.
That's it.
Nowhere to stay the first night.
And you don't know anybody here.
Not a soul.
Christ. Okay, so you stay at the Ford Hotel.
Yeah, well,
Is
like
that
I
a
went.
posh hotel?
No, it was a dump. It was a flop house, but it's Dundas and
Sherburne?
no Bay,
Oh, okay.
opposite the bus
Bus
station.
station. Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of those places. Anyhow, like I came out.
Close.
I came out of out of the thing, and you have to go through immigration.
Yeah.
And the guy
And
said,
what'd you tell them?
well, he said, where are you staying? I said, I don't know. I need to find somewhere to stay. I mean, when I think about it, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I had no job,
23,
no money.
50 bucks in my pocket.
Yeah, and I had like nowhere to stay even the first night.
I didn't know anybody here. Didn't
No.
even know anybody here.
No.
Yeah. Crazy.
And so anyhow, I went to the hotel, and so the guy said, well, yeah, this is sort of
The Ford
immigrant
Hotel's very
special, it's cheap, you know, and I
Yeah.
went there, and it was a pretty mysterious kind of hotel.
Yeah.
And I stayed there a couple of nights, and I mean, I don't know how I did it, because like, I must have met somebody, because I got to the Y. I moved to the Y from the Ford Hotel,
Right.
and because I don't really know how I did it, because I guess I'd written to all the publishers, okay? I had a big sort of file with all my, but nobody had given me a job, but
Right.
I'd written to everybody.
Oh, okay, so you sort of
Okay, so
introduced
like,
yourself a little
and but nobody had said, well, yeah, that,
What kind
well,
of job for
a
you?
couple of them I think had said, you know, come and see me when
When
you're
you're in
here, because I'm sure they've, I've heard all this shit before, you know, the
Yeah.
bloke never turns up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so, you know, the first 2 weeks I went all around to various publishers.
kicking doors, knocking on doors.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had, like, they
You
knew
had a
who I
portfolio.
was because I'd sent all the sort of stuff over and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And I would go and, I ended up at Macmillan
Right.
and they offered me a job.
Right. And you had a black bag portfolio of all your
Oh,
covers.
yeah, I had a
and
portfolio
essentially
of all my
that's-
stuff.
That's what you're
and
doing.
all that kind
Yeah.
of crap. And, lugged the portfolio around. And
Right.
they gave me a job. And by then I'd moved out of the Y and rented a room
Right.
on Lonsdale Avenue, at Sinclair and Young.
Yeah. For 12.
for $12
a week.
night. A week, yeah. Very nice actually. It was a nice room, furnished, and you ate in the basement was where the kitchen was and stuff.
All right.
And you know, everybody had
So that
a
was shared.
bit of a shelf in the fridge and all this kind of crap. And I mean, eventually I organised it that we all ate together.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of convened, sort of got them all to sort of, rather than sort of everybody having a meal on
Yeah.
their own,
Yeah,
we'd
yeah.
all eat together and we'd sort of buy milk and stuff between it, you know,
Right,
like
became more
rather
of
than
a
sort of all
house.
have all the, yeah.
Huh.
So I rented the room and then I got the job, and John Gray, who was the president, I borrowed $200 because I basically ran out of money. at
And
this
that was
point.
like just when you first got the job.
Yeah, before I started. And I mean, where he hired me on a Wednesday, and he said, "Would you want to start tomorrow?"
Wow.
And I said, "Oh no, I'll start on Monday." Even though I hadn't got a bloody cent, you know. But like England, you don't start a job on a fucking Thursday. You start on a Monday.
Right.
And so then he said, "Well, do you know what the Stanley Cup is?" And I said, "I've no idea." And he said, "Well, it's a hockey thing." And he invited me to dinner on the Saturday night, and we watched the Maple Leafs play on television in the Stanley Cup.
And he was the
He's the press.
of McMillan Canada.
Yeah.
God, and you're just a new hire. Wow.
Yeah, but you see, it was so different in those days. He was an Anglophile.
Yeah, and
So
you were some.
And he can't tell whether
Yeah.
I've got a posh accent or
Yeah.
you know. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just English,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he liked English,
Yeah, yeah.
and so
Yeah.
you know, and I didn't.
And not everybody's
I
flying
didn't
across the pond.
misbehave, you know. I hadn't
Yeah.
done anything
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
and so he lived on Woodlawn Avenue.
Well, you also probably have a collection of really interesting publishing stories because you've
Oh,
dealt
yeah.
with
yeah, all
John Murray and the
and
Ghost
Sir
of
John
Byron.
and
And
Byron. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're probably
Oh,
full
yeah.
of all sorts
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
esoteric
I could.
publishing. You
Sure.
can keep up, right?
Oh yeah, and that's certainly better than the ones he would have from
Yeah.
the middle of Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it was really nice. And so anyhow, he hired me on a Wednesday, and I didn't start until
Gave you money.
gave
Had
me
you over
200,
to his
and then I
house.
went over for dinner at his house.
Oh, before you'd started working. for
Yeah,
him.
and then on Monday morning I turned up and
Wow.
worked.
And you worked at Macmillan for a while.
2 years.
Not that long. All right. So all that stuff is here, and then you bought MG.
Yeah, well, okay. I arrived in April. By about sort of late May, I mean, I've never had as much money in my life. I was earning, in those days, I was earning about £13.10 in England, and I don't know how much I was giving my mum, but you know, but like £13.10 in dollars. I don't know, even if it was like, we'll say $27.
Yeah.
I've got $120.
Oh, like 6 times more than you'd ever seen before.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, I'm earning $120.
Yeah. That's
And
12.
my room is costing me 12,
Yeah.
10% of my income.
Yeah.
I had
It's all
money,
furnished
but
and everything.
I didn't need to buy any furniture, any of this shit. You know, it was brilliant.
Yeah. Well, and you're just you.
Yes, right.
You don't have
Yeah.
kids. You don't have
Yeah,
a wife. You
nothing,
don't have anything
nothing,
else going
nothing.
on. Yeah.
Nothing going on.
Yeah.
So, so
MG.
I bought an MG Midget.
Used?
2-seater sport, yeah.
What color?
White,
White.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
That's the first of the sports cars. You've had a couple.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So then you went fishing in Muskoka with Arnold, and together
Yeah, well,
you
why-
caught 40.
Yeah, well, I was the sort of, you know, art director,
Yeah.
and Arnold was the production manager. We were about the same
Okay.
age,
Yeah.
and he was from out west, really nice Western guy,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
typically, you know, generous,
Friendly.
warm, friendly Canadian
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
and his wife's parents had a lodge up in Muskoka.
Ah, the cottage country.
Yeah. And
Right.
so, you know, I'd never heard of cottage country
Yeah.
or any of this
Yeah.
shit. you
Yeah.
know. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And he said, well, you know, we should go fishing. I said, well, like, you know, I've sort of vaguely,
Fishing.
I've been once or something, you know, but he says, oh yeah, be all right. And he used to drive a Chevrolet Bel Air, you know,
Oh, yeah.
big,
Big one. Yeah.
like serious
Yeah.
Chevy.
Like a
and
cat.
yeah, so we drove up there and stayed at with his wife and his 2 kids
Right.
to stay at his in-laws' lodge, which had cabins.
Oh,
So it's a lodge with a bunch of cabins they rented.
Right.
And we went fishing one day, and he says, "Oh yeah, we'll go fishing." And yeah, we'll go fishing. Here's a rod. Oh no, we stopped at Canadian Tire or somewhere en route. And we bought a rod and all this kind of crap.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. We got 40 fish.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean brook trout aren't that big,
Yeah.
but I mean edible. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
big
yeah.
enough to eat.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was sort of my introduction to sort of northern, or I don't know, whatever cottage country and all the whole
Northern
sort of-
Ontario.
that whole thing,
Yeah.
But he was not from here. He was from out west,
Right.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, but
somewhere or
he's
other. But he married
knew how to
somebody.
live
I
off
know
the
he knew how to do
Canadian land kind of stuff.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's sort of a big difference. You don't think about it. Well, I don't think about it because I come from here. But, before this, you were always in Europe, traveling around and
that's
stuff
right.
like that. So
Yeah.
even if you're mucking around in the Sea Scouts and stuff like that, you're still on a river going past 500-year-old houses.
Yes.
It's not like you're fishing
No.
for brook trout in sort of
In the
off
middle
res.
of nowhere.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
the middle of absolutely.
With
Like
nobody else
Nobody's
around.
been there
Yeah,
for a
exactly.
long time.
Yeah.
And Arnold knew how to fish, and he knew where all the sort of water hole, the
Yeah.
deep bits were, and
Yeah.
all. And literally, you just like went like that, and a fish came out.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was.
Yeah,
It
magic.
required no skill whatsoever, but it was. I mean, I can still remember it. I was like, wow, man.
Well, and really different to what you had
Oh, yeah.
experienced previously.
You know,
right?
I
You're
mean,
in Europe land, right?
Yeah, they
you-
don't do any of that
No,
kind of stuff, and it's not, there's Europe land, there's a bloody old building or something on every
yeah.
corner.
Or
of
you're
everywhere.
traveling from one coffee shop to the next coffee shop. You're seeing culture. It's all this other
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
the great
No,
Canadian wilderness stuff. And this is the beginning, I
that's
guess,
right.
of that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
the fact that Rob came back with a bear skin 2 years
Oh,
prior
yeah,
might
yeah.
have been the sort of
Oh yeah, no, that sort
preview
of was
of what was to
intriguing.
come.
Oh really? How does it work?
Yeah. What
But
are
I
you
mean,
doing in Labrador?
Yeah. No, I mean it was, like from my I had no experience of wilderness.
Right.
I'd been to sort of the New Forest and Epping Forest, but they're like, a forest that's been there 1,000
Yeah, it's a
years,
pretty
and
country.
the king owns it or something or
Yeah.
whatever. It's not like here.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
it's sort of nobody knows.
No,
Yeah,
nobody owns it. It's
Yeah,
just like
land.
wood. It's from here. As far as the eye can see is crown land or whatever. Nobody owns the bloody stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty different.